Hello, this is Chris Coffey, Instructional Technology Coach. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a teacher website. I'm just covering the basics, but let's go ahead and get started because there's a lot to cover. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to log into your district account. And once you've done that, you will go to the Waffle or the Apps Launcher. And you're going to come down to where you see Sites and click on that. And when you first get started, you may want to choose a template, or you can start with a blank page. I'm going to go ahead and actually use a template for the class. It has one that is meant for classes. All right, now that the template has been created, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to give it a class name. So I'm going to change that from class to Mr. Coffey's class 2020, I guess 21 now. So now I have a new class name. I could change it here as well, or I could add a logo. I can change this. I can come in here and change the background image. I can select from what they have in Google's gallery. I can use a URL. I can search if I have pictures or something in my Google Drive. So you can add anything you want to. Just realize the background, if it's too wild, too colorful, too much happening, it's going to be hard to read up here. I can even change the header type. The large banner is pretty good for a home page. Cover, there are times you might want to use a cover page for a header, but usually I would stay either large banner or banner for your home page. But again, play with it however you like. Notice it's got a place for a class overview. You can add some pictures, has some more areas. Now all of this is in the template, so it's just kind of giving you ideas of what you could do. You don't have to keep any of this. If you say, you know what, I really don't want that picture, you can just come over here and I'll go ahead and show you all these little icons. The first thing you could do is change the background, and it gives you very limited options, and that's a good thing. That keeps uniformity throughout the pages. You can upload your own images, but again, be careful with that. I can duplicate the section, so if I wanted to do the same type of thing multiple times, or I can delete it. I can also use this little box right here to move this to another section. So if I want to move it around, I can do that. I can even click on an element like a picture or a text box, and you'll notice I get these two little dots. That's because I can then change the size of it, and I can get my crosshairs and move things around. And so I can change the elements like that. So it really is kind of just a grid layout, and you can move things around however you need to. With images, you're going to be a little bit limited on how much you can work with them. So you want to find images that work well. Notice I can move this image back and forth. I can make the image bigger, but I can't make the image any smaller. So keep that in mind, because trying to shrink it down won't work. So keep that in mind as you are choosing the images you want to use. Now, as you're adding elements, again, just remember the web page that you're making for your class is like the textbook. So this is kind of like the cover, and once you get down a little ways, you may want to create something like an index. So you can use these pre-designed layouts, and I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to drag it over here, and I'm going to say, okay, this is for Unit 1, this is for Unit 2, this is for Unit 3. And then I could add an image for each one. I could add a description underneath it. And we're going to come back to these in just a minute, because what we're wanting to do is then create a page for each unit. So I'm going to click on Pages up here, and when I do that, you can see the template has a schedule page and it also has a newsletter page. So both of those things are really kind of neat. I don't want either one of them, but I don't necessarily want to delete them either. What I can do is come over here to the little skinny snowman, and I can say hide from navigation. And if you'll notice, it has schedule and newsletter up here. If I hide from navigation, it will go away. And if I hide all of my pages other than my home page, even the home option goes away. So something to consider. But I want to create a new page for Unit 1. So I'm going to come down here. So I'm still in the Pages tab, and I come down here, and I say I'm going to create a new page, and this page is going to be Unit 1. Now, for Unit 1, I don't necessarily need the image in the background, so I'm going to change my header type to title only, and I'm going to go back to my Insert tab, and again, I'm going to start with a little summary of the unit. Maybe I have the standard here, standard 1, and have it written out, whatever that standard is. Maybe an image that relates to standard 1. Now, beyond that, I may have other things that I want to add. So let's go ahead and look at some of the things that we can add manually. I can say, all right, I want to add a text box. So I'm going to click on this, and now I'm going to type out whatever I want students to know. You can add an image. So if I click on this box, I can either upload or select. I'm going to select one, and I'm actually going to search, Google image search, and I'm going to say history. Let's see what images. Now, if it's something you know is copyrighted, you don't want to use it, because somebody has said that this is Creative Commons, and they've told Google that, but we know that the History Channel is copyrighted. So try not to use those unless you absolutely have to. But I'm going to choose this one. That one looks kind of cool. And I'm going to insert it. There's my little history image. And skip embed. And we're going to go straight to Drive. So if you've already organized your content, you've already posted a lot of things on Google Classroom, you have PDFs, you have slides, you have Google Docs, you have images or YouTube videos, those kind of things. Well, YouTube videos we'll come back to in a second, but anything that you have stored in your Drive, you can get access to it here and share it on your web page. So I'm going to use the AgTech folder, and here is a slide presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And let's see, this is a PDF. And this is a Google Doc. And I'm going to go ahead and insert all three selected. So I have my slideshow, my PDF, and my Google Doc. Now all I need to do is rearrange it however I want to. And again, if I click on this, I can reshape the boxes just a little bit so that people can see the entire document. But now I've got things in order. So as I'm doing this, I could go, all right, you know what I really want right here is I want to insert another text box, and I'm actually going to move it directly above this video and say, watch this video to find out about whatever this video is. It's not a video. Watch this, read this slideshow, I guess would be better. And you could give information as you're going along. So all that content that you created in previous semesters, you can add it and organize it into one place. Now, this is not the best organized, but I'm just kind of going through it quickly. Notice it does give you a header option or a footer option, so you could add information like your name, your email, contact information. That's useful so that students don't have to go look for it in other places. They can just use it right here on the website. Now, like I said, for embed, we'll cover that in training. But for now, we're going to skip that and we're going to say, I do want a YouTube video because I know for a fact that a lot of teachers include YouTube. There's so many good resources. At the bottom, if you look, you can scroll down and you can say, okay, YouTube, and you can search YouTube. So I'm just going to say AgTech. And I can find the video that I'm looking for. Remember, don't ever share a video if you haven't watched it. You never know what's on there. So make sure you've actually seen the video. And you can choose the video you want. And now that's going to link on the page. Notice you have all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to get into all of it right now, but you can add image carousels. So if you have a lot of information, you can add an actual table of contents. The class calendar you can add. So you can come here and it'll ask you which calendar. And you can say, okay, I want I don't know if you have, Ag Science. I'm going to insert that. So I have the Ag Science calendar, and whatever would be in there, whatever like due dates and that kind of stuff would show up. So that's useful. You may have a reason for maps or slides or sheets. You can even do built-in forms. There's so much you can add to this. And so a lot of teachers are like, well, why would I go on all that trouble? It's already in Google Classroom. In Google Classroom, this would have to be open. Then this would have to be open separately. Then this would have to be open separately. Then they would have to visit this separately. They'd have to check their calendar separately. Like all of this would be extra steps for your students. So by having it all in one place, the students can have all of this information right here. Now, one of the things that's also very useful is now that we have all these resources in one place, let's do the assignment. So I can either through an image or a text box. Let me actually select an image and I'm going to do a Google search. Let's try assignment. There we go. Perfect. I'm just going to click on that and insert it in. And so now, remember, I can move this around how I want to. Making it bigger is easy. Making it smaller is hard because the boxes tend to cut off the image. So when you're moving it around, notice that image size is not always perfectly adjusted. So what you may have to do is say, yep, that's not going to work. And actually start stretching it out in different ways. But I've got this, I can add a link. Now what link will I want to add? Well, I want to add an assignment. So I'm going to go to my class. I'm going to go to classwork and I'm going to look for the three little dots next to the classwork and I'm going to copy the link. Then I come here, I click on that link option and it says, oh, you have some pages in the site. Do you want to link to that? Right now I don't. I want to link this assignment. So now if I preview this page, this is what the student would see if I were to post this page right now. All those resources they need, the videos, the calendar, and there goes the assignment. And it launches not just to Google Classroom, but to that specific assignment. Okay? And for this sample, I don't have the details and instructions, but hopefully you would. There is one other thing with links that I want to do, is when you go home, back to the home page, we need to come back down and link our units. Now, I've added an image, so I'm going to click on that image, and I'm going to click on the link option. I'm going to click Unit 1 and apply. And I'm also going to highlight Unit 1 and click Link, Unit 1, and apply. So I'm linking both the word and the image for Unit 1 to that page that I just created, which is also showing up here. So there's two ways for students to get to Unit 1. They can click it right here if they know, or if they're not sure where they're going, they can come down here and look, read the description if I gave it one, and they'd be golden to get to Unit 1. So if I preview this page, this is what the students would see. They'd click here on 1, and now they're in Unit 1. me close that out. Now, the last two things you need to do is to share the site and to publish it. By default, if I click on the share button, I can click where it says links vary, and click change. Right now, only specific people can edit my draft. So if you have a co-teacher or somebody you want to work on the page with you, you could give them rights. But what I want is to look at the second option, the publish site. Bamberg School District 1, anyone in this group can find and open. That means if they're logged in with their district account, they can get to your web page. You may want to change it to public if you want parents who don't have a district account, or if you want students who just forgot to log in or they're working on their phone or something like that to access your page. You may want to make it public. And then I'm going to click done. And now that I'm done, I'm going to click publish. And it'll say, well, what's the web address? And it's asking me, okay, class name? No, that's not going to be it. It's going to be Coffee 2021. That'll be the web address. And I'm going to publish. You can ask it not to be found on search engines, but that's just a preference. I'm going to publish it. If I come up here, I can go to View Publish Site. And this is the full URL for my page. sites.google.com/bamberg1.com, then my class name, and then the home page is right here. But notice if I took that off and hit enter, it will still load the exact same page. And all of my pages, all my links work. You're going to want to play with it and test it. Make sure everything is working before you give it to your students. This is a great way to share the resources that you've created or gathered up for your students in one central location, just like it would be for a textbook. And then Google Classroom becomes your workbook. I know this video has been a little bit long, but I hope it has given you a lot of information on how to get started on your pages. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Also, check the training schedule in Bamberg 1 and 2. Because I will be offering some website development classes throughout the semester. And thank you so much for watching.